Okay, today I'm going to talk a little bit about pensions, and there's three different ways that you can save for your pension. There's through your work. So, for example, you do 4%, your employer does 3%, and then the government gives you 1% back. So that's 8%. And then that will probably be invested in a certain fund if you don't amend it, which is probably about 7% a year, which is it's okay. You can log into your own pension and amend it to different schemes. So, for example, on the one I use, which is People's Pension, I've amended it to, I think I've done 50% in one and 50% in another, and one's 16% a year on average, and one's 18%. And there is another more high riskier one. So there's like three different levels. So you're looking at 17%. I think the other one was 25%, but it was like 50% was concentrated really in very few stocks. So that was very, very risky. So um, a lot of people I've talked to, well, not a lot, some have said they're not interested in investing in a work pension. But really, it's it's a bit like getting 100% return before you in 1 year when you put it in the market. Because if you think about it, so say you put in 4%, your work puts in 3, and the government gives you back 1. That's you put in 4, you're getting 4 back, so that's 100% there. And then you'll get your other percent that's actually invested over the years. So a work pension is a good idea. The second way you can do a pension is by doing it yourself, which is a self-invested personal pension. Now, I do this because I want a bit more control and less fees. So if I put £100 into this, the government will top up by 25%. Sorry, they say 20%, but they give me £25, so it's a little bit confusing. But for every £100 I put in, they'll give me £25 on top. So I do that, and then I invest in my own ETFs. The only problem with doing, well, this affects the work pension and the SIP pension, is when you want to take it out. So imagine, I don't know, you come around to retirement age and 25% of your pot is tax free, and then the rest. So say you want a 20 grand pension, for example, you took your 25% out tax free, fine, and then the rest, you'll if you're retiring before you get your state pension, you'll be like on a normal tax basis, so like 20%. So if you take out 20 grand, the first 12,000 odd is tax free, but then the 8 extra grand to top up to 20, you'll pay 20% on. So you're paying tax like you were still employed, which annoys me. So it's a good idea because you still get your top up from the government, which is why I use it. But then if I explain the third way to invest, and that's through an ISA, stocks and shares, which it's a bit confusing because it says stocks and shares, but you don't have to pick stocks. You can pick ETFs, which is the same as what I'm investing in on my pension. Now this is in a tax-free wrapper, so you can put up to 20 grand a year in there. You don't have to put that much. Just put what you can afford. But you don't, when you take money out of here, it's tax-free. So you're not paying tax on it. So I actually do all three. I do my work pension, I do my SIP pension, and I do the ISA. So there, and it's also it all depends on timing as well. So if you want to retire early, then you can use the ISA stocks and shares and take the money out, and there's no tax on it, which is great. Or if you've got a while left to retire, you keep going with your work pension, but then use your SIP to get the extra top up. Like I say, you put £100 in, the government gives you £25. But because eventually you'll be paying 20% on if you take any big withdrawals out in the year, like I mentioned on the 20 grand earlier, my plan is to take the 25% out and move it over to the ISA. So then that can grow and I can take that out tax free. So it's a little bit complicated, but it's all for tax reasons and for timing reasons. So I hope that's not confused anyone too much, or if you've got any questions, just ask. But they're the 3 different ways that I'm planning on doing it. So I hope that was helpful.